Welcome back to Gear for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 806, we're going to talk about Liesa with a lie in it. Fitting. Forgotten Archangel. For 2 white, black, we get a 4/5 Angel that I did not pull. Thank you, Mr. Jim, for donating this commander. Flying lifelink. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, return that card to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So you get those creatures back. And then, if that's not enough, if a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. So your opponents do not have die triggers, because the instead denotes a replacement effect. So all their stuff that dies gets exiled. Now, this is very creature heavy. We have something like 42 creatures in here, and that may be a little too focused, I'll be honest with you. We don't have a whole lot of ramps, so let's go ahead and get it out of the way. We have the Orzhov Signet Cluestone Locket, but now I also have the Ornithopter of Paradise, because it's a creature that we can sacrifice to something. We have Burnished Heart, which, oh my gosh, is wonderful if we can find it. Probably going to use the tutor to go find it, because if we sacrifice the heart and we can get 2 lands, it comes back to our hand, and we just keep doing that. Not quite as good as the Sun Titan thing, but still really, really good. We have, let's go ahead and get the card draw out. Sign in Blood, Read the Bones, Ambition's Cost, Siphon Mind, and Harvester of Souls is going to do some crazy amount of work. One of your non-token creatures dies, you may draw a card. Wow. Our things still die. They just die, and at the end of turn they come back to our hand. So I have the creatures set up in like 7 different categories here. It's super weird. So first, let's look at whenever a creature dies category. Like Butcher of Malakir. One of your creatures dies, everybody sacks a creature. Blood Artist. They lose 1, you gain 1. Zulaport Cutthroat. Now, each loses 1 and you gain 1. Cruel Celebrate. Thank you, Danny, for reminding me this card existed. Each opponent loses 1, you gain 1. Grim Haruspex. Draw a card. Now, that probably should have been in the card draw pile, but it was in the, when something dies, do a thing. Pawn of Ulamog. You get a spawn token, you can sack for colorless mana. That may be useful in recasting your commander when they get so upset they kill it. Ogre Slumlord. When a creature dies, you get a rat, a death-touching rat. So that's not bad. Sir Conrad. No, he's just an amazing card by himself. Tabarax. Yeah, randomly, a few of these are going to accidentally be clerics. It was not a cleric thing consciously. If it happens, sweet. Mothra, Limitless Broodmoth here. You just get it back with flying. And then, when it dies, our commander will put it back in our hand at the end of the turn when it dies a second time, and then we cast it and it won't have a flying counter. If you can keep the 2 of them alive, yeah, it's pretty sweet. But I want to talk about Magus of the Bridge. Now, this is the first time I've ever put this in a deck. And to be honest with you, this may be the first deck I've ever seen it in. But, here's what makes this so awesome. Whenever one of your creatures dies, you get a zombie. But whenever an opponent's creature dies, is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you lose the Magus. If we have our commander out, that won't happen, because their creatures get exiled. So, probably also good with the Leyline of the Void, things like that. Now, our next category is when this dies. Like Dutiful Attendant. When it dies, return the creature card from a graveyard to your hand. I'm sure that might matter. Hollowed Spirit Keeper dies. You get a bunch of flowers. Yeah. Corpse Augur. Draw X cards, lose X life, where X is the number of creature cards in target player's graveyards. And then the Vindictive Lich there. It dies. You can do any of them, but all of them got to target a different player. So that's it's one of those cards that I don't really play that much, but I do kind of like it. Not gonna lie. Then we have, let's see, this little small category. You know what I'm talking about. Fleshbag Marauder, Plague Crafter, and Merciless Executioner. Now these are awesome for the deck because, whoa, I mean, they're going to come in, do their thing, die, go back to our hand, and we can conceivably do this every turn. Sick. What is this? Oh, Sacrifice Outlets. Just in case we need something to sacrifice to, you know, we have Sacrifice Outlets. Carrion Feeder. I do have a Carnage Altar. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about that. There are a million different ways to build this deck. The white, black, dies, aristocrats kind of strategy. There's millions of cards. Slight exaggeration. Nantuko Husk, good sack outlet. Flesh Carver. Ghost Council of Orzhova. You know, it sacks a creature, blink it out. Titan Hunter. Sack a creature, gain 4 life. Viserys Seeger, of course, you knew was in there. Free sack outlets. Disciple of O's not bad. Gain X life, draw X card, 6 is the power. We have 1/8/7 creatures. You know what I'm talking about. Angel of Despair. Shriek Maw. That's going to lead us into our creatures that sacrifice themselves, with Bone Shredder being the segue there, because if you don't pay the Echo, it will kill itself, but it is a 1/8/7 creature. And you don't have to pay the Echo because you can just keep playing it every turn. Beautiful. Turmoil's Crypt Keeper. If graveyard management matters, this is the hero. Because, you know, it is 6, so that's every other turn clock. Bounty Agent sacrifices itself to destroy a legendary permanent, artifact, creature, or enchantment. So, somebody's commander, somebody's, you know, whatever. Chroma's Memorial. God, Selfless Savior. Sacks itself to protect something. Cliffside Rescuer. Sacks itself. Target permanent you control gains protection from your opponents. That's kind of neat. Vampire Hexmage for that Planeswalker that's got to go. For those 1/1 counters that's got to go. For, you know, anything. And then lastly, Bottle Gnomes. Because it's funny, that's why. I mean, I like me some Bottle Gnomes. Yeah, it's 3 life a turn, or 3 mana to gain 3 life a turn. But it's a decent blocker. Repeatedly gaining 3 life is not nothing, you know. Other categories, sure. We have Vargoth, another tutor, essentially. Every time he attacks. Drannith Magistrate says your opponents cannot cast their commanders. Mean card. That's what's in there. Gravedigger, if we do have a situation where we do have things in our graveyard we want to get back, maybe that was in between Liesa cast or whatever, the Gravedigger and a sack outlet can slowly get all of those back in. Teysa, Envoy of Ghosts. A creature deals combat damage to you, it dies, gone. And we get a flyer for our trouble. Warlock class. Oh, super shiny. Yeah, all 3 of these fairly decent abilities. Bloodbaron of Escopa, it's okay, look, it's the 2 colors, and I can't resist the 5 mana 10/10 double protection lifelink, okay? I mean, I can't. I was in the colors and I was like, Same way I could not resist the debt to the deathless. Late game, you draw it. That's a huge, huge spell. But I want to talk about our last creature here, False Prophet. Yeah, I know. It's kind of a nombo. It works against the deck. But there's sometimes... Last night I played a game where everything I had was indestructible. And you feel pretty good. But I also play like, what could my opponent have to break this up? And False Prophet's one of them. If they've got the Darksteel Forge thing out or the Avacyn's Memorial thing going, whatever, it exiles them all. So, that is a lot of creatures, a lot of removal stuff in there, but I do actually have some other removal in the deck. Because there are a lot of cards that says, you know, triggered abilities from creatures don't work, or ETBs don't work, or things like that. And then stuff like Bone Shards here. You can sack a creature to destroy a creature. Same way with Final Payment. We have Tragic Slip, Mortify, Kaya's Wrath, Utter End for that exile, Dusk to Dawn, and Blood on the Snow. Don't have as many snow-covered lands as I would like. I think all the plains are snow-covered, but I don't have any more swamps. So, I mean, I've got this one, the Snowfield Sinkhole, but that leads us right into our non-basic lands, doesn't it? We have Tainted Field, Silverquill Campus, Goldmire Bridge, Orzhov Basilica, Forsaken Sanctuary, Orzhov Guildgate, Scoured Barrens, Rogue's Passage, you knew it was in there, right? Terramorphic Expanse, Evolving Wilds, Command Tower, and the Temple of Silence. As I said, I just finished building this one. Probably, I mean, I built it over there, brought it over here, enlisted it, and then recorded it. So this is a fresh one. No, it has not been played. I hope to remedy that this weekend. So, I got a mess clean up over there. 806 is done on the wall. I appreciate it, Jim. Thank you very much for the card, and I appreciate all of y'all for watching, liking, sharing, doing all that stuff. As Evan says, doing everything social that tells people that I exist. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But that's what we've got for right now. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle and cut.